Master Rana of Prana martial arts. In this video, we're going to talk about boxing hand techniques. First, when training on a heavy bag, it is important you have proper gear protection on. Most ideal is to wrap your hands with traditional boxing hand wraps. I use 180-inch, the long wraps, not the 108-inch wraps, in order to get a full, proper wrap on. We'll have videos on how to properly wrap as well. One can also use these quick wraps. Quick wraps generally contain some kind of foam, neopropene wrap that goes around your hand. From thence, you have the wrap that goes around the wrist, giving you the wrist protection. When using large heavy bags such as I use, the 150-pound Muay Thai bags, it's very important to properly wrap your hands. Otherwise you can easily snap your wrist, break bones in your hand. This offers medium to ample protection. Hand wraps are the best for wrist protection. Then we have gloves. When wearing boxing gloves, you should always make sure to fully wrap your hands beforehand, as these offer great hand protection, lots of padding, extra weight, but do not necessarily offer the strongest wrist protection. Your wrist is still very free to move unless wrapped. That can cause bendage in the wrist and breakage. One of the benefits of training with boxing gloves, especially heavy 16-ounce boxing gloves, is you have 1 pound of weight on each arm. Therefore, you have additional weight that slows you down, that helps build up your strength and power. So therefore, when you pull them on and fight with fight gloves, you'll punch much faster, much harder. We also have our traditional MMA gloves, the UFC style gloves. With these gloves, there's a very tight fit, all fingers go into them. There's a pad around the knuckle and the back fist. It is not so much to protect the partner you're sparring, more to protect your hand. These ones I like because they're training gloves. They have a little bar in the center for you to grab, so you have a tight fist. Then there's a leather wraparound that offers fairly decent wrist support. Though there is some bend, you got to make sure you have a tight fist with these. These can work in the heavy bags. You got to be very careful you have a strong wrist and be prepared for it. The traditional foam karate pads are not sufficient for hitting large heavy bags. They can be used on smaller heavy bags, on Wave Master bags, speed bags, double end bags, but not so much on big heavy bags. Big heavy bags I suggest only using boxing gloves or proper MMA gloves. Now we're going to explore basic boxing hand techniques. Traditional martial arts, such as Taekwondo, are very well known for their kicking strengths. However, their hands are not always so practical, and their stances are not always so practical for fighting. The traditional karate stance, the back stance, or a front stance, is not practical for fighting, not at least in the modern world. We want to work on our boxing stance. Keep your feet shoulder width. If you're right-handed, you'll follow these directions. If you're left-handed, you reverse the names, left and right. Feet start off shoulder width. Always shoulder width. It's where you have the most balance. Easiest range of motion in your hips. Take one regular upright step with your left foot. Straight forward. Turn your feet 45 degrees. Hands up at the temple. Elbows tight, not open and exposed. Tight and in. Head slightly down, eyes forward. Bend your knees. Come onto the balls of your feet. Very light and buoyant. You should be able to bounce forward and back. Get used to your breath. In through the nose. Sharp exhale through the mouth. Good. From here, all punches you always use your first 2 knuckles. The index and the middle finger. Never your pinky. The pinky is called a boxer's fracture. That's why it breaks so often. Your first strike is your jab. Your left front hand jab. Straight out with the jab, straight back. Notice I don't wind up. You go straight out, straight back. The other hand stays tight up in the face. Notice I did not just use my left arm. No matter how strong you are, that front arm is not strong enough to get a strong punch. You need to take your other arm, pull the shoulders back, pivot, pulling the shoulder back. Equal and opposite motion like basic physics. My front foot can also pivot, can also step into the target. keeping yourself tight and guarded. Always bring the hand right back to the face. That's your number 1 punch, your first strike. Your number 2 is your basic right, your reverse punch, your right jab. Or also known as a cross sometimes, if you cross it. Taking the backhand, you don't wind up. Straight from the temple. Shoot it out. Again, don't just use the right arm. There's no power there. Pull your left shoulder through. Equal and opposite force. Bam! Pop it through, keeping the elbow tight. Pivoting the back foot. So my hips pop through. Good, that's your number 2 punch. Your 3 is your hook, your front hand hook. 2 ways to do this. 1 is palm down, 1 is palm in. I personally prefer palm in because it accents the big knuckles as opposed to the pinky that easily breaks. From here, your arm is going to be 90 degrees, right angle. Straight from the temple, don't wind it up. From the temple, turn it out, pivot through. Again, you pull your right shoulder back, you strongly pivot your left foot. Bam! Popping your hips into it. Pop, pop, bam, hook. This is your 3 or your front hook. Your 4 is your reverse hook, your backhand. Same thing from the temple. Pull it around 90 degrees. Again, don't just use the right arm. Pull your left shoulder through. Pivot your right foot strong. All the way through. That's your 4. Your 5 is your front uppercut. Straight up to the face. We don't need to dip, swing it all around, and telegraph. Right from the temple, the power comes from the hips. Pulling the right shoulder back. Quick dip. Bam! Pop up to the face. Bam! Pop up to the face. My left foot pivots with it. It's your 5, your front hook. Your 6 is your rear hook, your backside. Keeping the hands up. Right from the temple. Dip. Pull the left shoulder through, pivot the right foot. Don't let your elbow come out and expose. Keep it tight in, guarding your ribs. Bam! To the face. Excellent. Now, in addition, in MMA, we have our elbow strikes. Elbow strike is very much like your hook. You just pull the hand in tighter. Right here with the elbow. Swing it around, pivot that left foot, pull the right shoulder through for the front elbow. Bam! To the face. The rear is just like the reverse hook. Pulling the hand in tight. Bam! Pulling it through. Bam! So these are your basic strikes. 1, front jab. 2, reverse jab. 3, front hook. 4, reverse hook. 5, front uppercut. 6, rear uppercut. Elbow. Elbow. Be sure to check my other videos for boxing combinations, techniques, and footwork. Again, for more videos, visit facebook.com/Prana Martial Arts, youtube.com/Prana Martial Arts. Thank you.